I think he's really good. You know, he's long, active, very athletic. He has some nice moves around the basket. He runs the floor well, and he's got a great presence on the defensive end. And like you say, he's a great rebounder. He's averaging three offensive rebounds a game in conference, and I think that leads the conference. So he's not just a one-dimensional player, that's for sure. He really provides a lot of positive things for Stanford. I hope so. I hope so in a positive way, obviously, but you never know. You know, Faisal started that game, I think scored 20 and did a nice job, and that tightened the rotation. A lot of kids, you know, they want to be on the floor. So with Reggie out there, like anybody, it takes a few minutes here and there. And so you never know how the dynamics are going to change. But theoretically, I mean, it should help. You know, one of your better players is back and in the lineup, so hopefully it helps. Well, and also Dre Winston, he hasn't had an opportunity to play as much, but all three of those kids are always ready to go. And that's something we appreciate, because it's hard when you sit there and know that you might get in for a minute or two, or you might not play at all. It's sometimes hard to be prepared for that moment, and then you're called upon to get in there, and it could be in the first half, it could be in the second half, late in the game, you haven't played yet, and all of a sudden, hey, get in there, and you need to help us. So that's a hard role to be in, and yet I think all three of those kids as freshmen have handled it quite well, and at times have given us really good minutes. Well, Will didn't play a lot of minutes, but I thought his energy really helped us. And I love the way he plays off of his instincts. You know, he has a good feel for the game and makes plays instinctively. Always aggressive, always great effort. And so he did a good job. Andre did not play, unfortunately. He did not get in the game. But Patrick stepped in, and he always knows what's going on, executes well. We're hoping that he gets that shooting touch back that he had early in the year, where he was just drilling threes. But he's still a threat, but we know he can shoot better than he's been shooting, and we're looking forward to that time when he hits 2 or 3 in a game, which he's very capable of doing. I like it. I like the fact that we beat a very good Washington team here at home in a building with a lot of energy. It was a lot of fun that night. And then really disappointed in our effort and the way we played at Oregon. But the way we bounced back against an Oregon State team that had beat Arizona at home, Washington at home, and had proven that they're capable of beating some good teams, especially on their home court. And you know, to play 48 hours later, after we'd played so poorly in Eugene, I thought it was a real test of character, and our guys did a great job. Right, that's happened a few times, and that's a good sign. Obviously, Clay is one of our very best players, maybe the best player on the team. But just like Reggie Moore being out the last time we played Stanford, or D'Angelo being out a couple games this year, our guys have been able to rally and get the job done, sometimes with some of the better players on the bench. Or in Clay's case, just not playing as well as he usually plays. That could be, I don't know the answer. I don't know exactly why Clay or anybody else might have a bad game unless they're ill or something's really on their mind. I think Clay desperately wants to play well, desperately wants us to win. And so I know we're getting his best effort most every minute he's on the court. And he's like anybody else. In fact, I think D'Angelo said it best after the Oregon game, maybe, that he's human. You know, he'll have a bad game once in a while, or maybe it was after the Oregon State game. I mean, Clay is human, and every once in a while he'll have a bad game. Well, I do think that our guys understood what was at stake going into the game, and when we came out, that opening tip, we were pretty aggressive, and we got after it right away. And I thought that was a key ingredient to that game, to get off to a good start and build a little bit of confidence, especially on the heels of how we performed and played at University of Oregon. So I think there's been some real good signs of maturity with this group. It's not every single day, but it just keeps popping up in ways that you see this team is growing as a group. They're a tight-knit group. They get along well. They're not pointing fingers, and they really do want to succeed. So I like where this team is right now. Well, they're both good teams. I think we're tied with Cal, and Stanford's one game behind us. So yeah, we're right there with them. So they're critical games, but even if we were playing someone that didn't have a good record, it would be like, well, we've got to win this game. Or if we were playing one of the top teams, well, boy, if we could win this game, it really helps. So after a while as a coach and hopefully as players, you just approach every game like, we need to win this. There's some reasons why, and we need to get this thing done. And that's where we are this weekend once again. And I'm sure that's where Stanford and Cal is. They're looking at the same scenario we are. We're all right there bunched together, and they're important wins. It is. I thought, I thought they would bounce back and go down to Oregon and play well. And it's not that they didn't play well. I saw bits and pieces of both games. But Oregon and Oregon State played extremely well against Washington. And Oregon played extremely well against us. So that's one team that's kind of on the rise. And right now I think they could play with anybody, especially on their home court. It is. I mean, you're always looking for leadership. You want and you need leadership on the floor. But we do have a couple kids, Abe and Charlie, that they are four-year guys. Right. And then because Marcus, D'Angelo, and Clay, especially Clay and D'Angelo, had good minutes their freshman year, even though those three kids are juniors, they've been around a while. And so really, when I look at those five especially, they should be able to provide the leadership of what a lot of seniors provide. But there is something to be said about being a senior. You just, like Nicola last year, I think he knew he was a senior. In his case, he was the only senior. But I think that just brings upon a responsibility that, I'm in the same shoes as those other guys were in a few years ago when I was an underclassman, and I need to be a good role model in a lot of ways. I need to be able to provide support and take on that leadership role. Whether I'm a captain or not, I'm a senior. And so you do, or at least I do, really like having seniors in the program.